For the rest of us to participate
Oh my
in
god,
the
not
games
even
well.
her
There's
face
a
for her
history of
hair.
nasty.
What? Her hair?
What's her?
Oh, what is that? It's a hat, but it's her hair.
I know.
Yeah. And her hair doesn't look brushed or anything.
This Tim, like, she's like. Dearest gentle listeners, welcome to a new episode of Page to Picture. I am your host, Kim.
And I'm your host, Tiff.
And today we are finally talking about my personal favorite Bridgerton series. But before we dive in, a quick heads up, this episode will include spoilers about the Bridgerton series, book and show. So if you haven't read the book or watched the show and want to avoid spoilers, just come back later.
Yeah, come back. Watch it.
Watch it, read it, come back, listen. Or
Watch it, read
if you
it,
don't-
come back.
If you don't care, then just listen.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, let's get into it. So we're still on the author Julia Quinn. This is the Bridgerton series. Genre, historical romance.
Smut.
Regency smut era. Setting. Setting, Regency smut era London. Because they be smutting on the streets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that scene. Yeah.
They be smutting it in the Regency era of London.
Listen.
So this is truly smut era.
It's for the streets.
Yeah. The book is Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. I feel like I said it weird.
It's
I
blurry.
can't see you. You'll blur.
It's blurred. It's blurred because of the smut. If you've seen episode 1, you'd know. Oh, it's still blurry. It's the smut.
Not her arm. It just like went to her
I
arm.
know. That's the only spot
That's the.
that
that's all
wasn't
you get.
touched by.
That's all you can get. Right there.
Not even the
Not me,
elbow.
my it's right here.
It's just a little piece of skin.
Don't touch that.
Yeah, that is not for you.
Okay, so this book is Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. It released in 2002.
Mhm.
And this book we are focused on Colin, your favorite. No.
No. No. Not. Not.
How dare you?
I do not burn for him.
It is on Colin, who is child number 3,
Mhm.
Anthony Benedict Colin. And I'm excited because Colin has been a reoccurring character from the first season into finally his season now. So we've known Colin, we've followed him. He's had in every season, like he's had a little storyline, right? He's not like Gregory or Hyacinth or Francesca where they're just like in the background and nobody fucking
Yeah.
knows their storyline. So we finally get his season. And it's not just about Colin, it's Penelope too. This is her big season.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Yeah. They like trickled him in just enough to where it's like the build up for this season was like
Finally.
intense. Yeah. Everyone was so excited because they teased it
Mhm.
in every season. All right, so about the show. So season 3 of Bridgerton, which is based on The Traveler, into 17 continents or whatever the hell he said.
He
didn't
is
even say it
quite a
right.
traveler.
He's listen. He doesn't want everyone to forget. He's just gonna tell you no matter what. In every conversation, he's gonna be like, "I've been to 17 states," and I'm like,
He's like, I've learned a lot.
okay,
I was like, rake.
yeah.
Smut.
He's in his
But
Antony era.
yeah, seriously.
So it is about the traveler.
It is about the voyage of
Yeah,
the traveling voyages of Colin Bridgerton.
exactly. So it is about Colin. Um, this season was released in 2 parts, which is the first time Netflix has
Ew.
done that. I know. It's the first time they've done it to Bridgerton, and we all hated them for it. Never
Yeah.
again. I hope they never do that. Don't do that.
That's the worst.
I hate it. I hated it. I didn't want to wait. After that last scene,
I know.
I didn't want to wait.
I know.
So, because it was in 2 parts, part 1 was released May 16th of 2024, and then part 2 was released June 13th. So
it's like a month, but like it was the longest
month ever. I didn't know what to do with myself. I just rewatched.
Especially,
I just kept rewatching part 1.
I just keep rewatching part 1, but the last episode.
Yeah, I was like, I can't.
I was like, and for me, I literally waited till midnight for when it dropped, and I watched the whole thing in one sitting.
Yeah,
it was like everybody was sleeping. I watched it, and then when I got done watching it, I was like, all right, countdown to part 2.
yeah. I guess
I had to wait.
Gotta write it on my calendar. The
It's
whole
like
thing.
time to wait.
I did like what Netflix did with the intro though. They made the intro more Bridgerton style rather than just the basic N. You know how it's like dun dun. Yeah. It was like flowery with like the little bee. It was cute. I loved it.
They're like involved.
Is that the first time they did that? Because I don't think they did that with
so.
season 2.
Yeah.
I think they edited it now because I think if you go back and watch, I think it has that now.
Queen Charlotte.
No. Like
What?
season 1 and 2. I think when you go back to watch that, well, maybe now Queen Charlotte too, but if you go back to watch the later ones, I think they changed the N intro to match Colin and Penelope's intro.
I'll have to go and look.
Yeah, me too. I don't know. But so Bridgerton season 1 through 3 is available to stream if you do want to catch up on all the gossip from the ton. What?
That was just me.
Okay. So, Romancing Mr. Bridgerton focuses on Colin Bridgerton when he realizes that he has feelings for Penelope Featherington after all this time. And Miss Penelope has been loving on Colin for years since they met, pretty much. So when Colin returns from his most recent travels to Europe, I think he was in Greece and Europe.
Paris. Remember? Like, it's like her thing. She's like, how do the women look?
Yes. Yeah. So he came back. Yeah. So Europe. So he came back from his trip from Europe, and Paris was one of the places. So he's surprised to find Penelope more confident. And she's just kind of like, kind of finding herself, figuring out what works for her and all that cute stuff.
Over living with her mother, her
mama. She's tired of it. So she's like, I'm finding a husband. I'm getting out of this damn house. I'm tired of it. So he is intrigued, obviously, to see his childhood best friend pretty much becoming this woman that he's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
She's hot. That's what he's like.
Oh my god. Who are you?
I know. And so as time goes on, they, their friendship kind of deepens into a little bit more, and Colin begins to see Penelope in a new light. Little scenes here and there kind of show like him focusing a little bit more on like features that he didn't really notice about her. She's like, and he's like he said,
I'm like, what is up with these Bridgerton like kids? Something about dessert that just gets them like,
yeah, they'd love it. Well, if you think about it, Colin, and even in the show too, I think they brought it up, but Colin like was a master of treats. Like he was always eating. So like the fact that she ate that, and he goes, first of all, that treat looks good. Second of all,
he was like, ooh,
you look good. He's like, wait a minute.
He's like, Penelope?
He said, Miss Featherington, you're ruffling my feathers. So that's just a quick plot of what it is. And then the trope for this one is just a plain, simple friends to lovers, which we both love, I think. I like the friends to lovers trope. And I like this one too, because this one, we have so much backstory with Colin and Penelope that it's like Like finally, it has that like
Yeah.
finally feeling. So
Yeah.
it was good.
You're like finally calling, you've like opened your eyes and like you see that like
Yeah.
fucking Penelope is and right there. Even your homegirl, Miss Marina Thompson, was
Yeah.
like, honey, there's people right in front of you
Someone
that you
loves
need.
you. It's not me.
Oh,
She was so adamant on it. She was
I
like,
know.
"You're just
She's
a
like, move
child."
on.
I know.
Yeah.
She's like, "I have twins. I can't deal with you."
Like, get over me,
I know.
please.
I know I'm hot shit, but
Okay.
I
That's how
know.
she felt
That's
though,
how she
her
felt.
character.
Yeah. Not saying that's what it was, but she tried to trap
Okay.
the man.
I know. And he was willing. Remember? They're
Yeah.
like, she's pregnant. He's like, that's okay.
It's fine. And the mom was like, no, bitch.
Colin
I
literally
don't
was
think
like
so.
ready to settle. I was like, what the
I
hell?
know. I was like, you need to travel first. Grow a pair.
Do your
Get your
travel
Bridgerton
needs?
glow up first and then come back.
Yeah. Come back, because what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as we were kind of talking about earlier, prior to the podcast, there is a lot of differences.
Mm-hmm.
And you made the statement that this is probably one of the most, this is probably the first season where there's so much difference between the book compared to the other seasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first book, the second book slash first season, second season, there's like little differences, but there was a lot of similarities. And this one, it was so hard to find the similarities when I was doing like the research. I was like, I could do differences like
Yeah. Like, I
like
know
there's
this didn't
so
happen. I know this didn't happen.
I
This
was
didn't
like going
happen.
crazy on the differences and the similarities. I was like, I don't know, the
Their
carrot
names.
mirror.
The smutty scenes.
Yeah. That is the justice they did for us.
Yeah, they really did. I think the reason, I think as they go on with the seasons, it's going to be harder to have similarities with the books because of how they started off with like
Yeah.
Eloise and Penelope's story with like Lady
Yeah.
Whistledown, and then revealing who Lady Whistledown is, and then switching from Benedict first to Colin first, and then
Mhm.
like just the changes, the amount of differences is starting to like catch up to us in the
In this
seasons.
season, they literally introduced us to so many different characters. They introduced us to characters that are going to be important moving forward, setting us up for Eloise, setting us up for Francesca, and setting us up for Benedict. So they're literally in this season, they're setting us up for 3 children.
Yeah.
The next 3 that are coming up, and it's like it was a lot.
Yeah.
I know there was a lot of like people were like they should have focused just primarily on Colin and Penelope with the sprinkles of everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt like this season they were Colin and Penelope were kind of like in the back, and everyone else was like more like Francesca's story and like Benedict's story and
Even
even
Eloise and Cressida,
Eloise. Yeah.
that whole thing. But I think the reason
Even
why,
Violet Bridgerton, she had her own little gardener.
listen,
Hello.
I'm not mad about it though, because the more Miss Danbury I
either.
get, the better.
Then even like the boxer,
Yeah.
that situation, I was like, what? But then I remember you told me, because when I watched it, I was like, I don't get it. Like, why do we have to keep focusing on them? Why does it matter? And you were like, no, it matters because the child of the boxer family, something with another
Hyacinth, I think,
Hyacinth,
is who
yeah.
it is.
So
They
there's a
have a
connect.
friendship or something like that, and it turns
It
into
just
whatever.
felt very like thrown up.
There was a lot going on, but I think like to contradict that that like comment that everyone had about like there wasn't enough Penelope and Colin in this season was like you have to also think about like there was a lot of Penelope and Colin in season 1 and season 2. Like there was a lot.
Yeah.
And so like if you take their screen time of it's season 1 and season 2 and then you add it into their season, it's like a lot of them, because there was a lot of moments that they've had like in season 1 and season 2, like when in season 1 when Penelope like stops him in the hallway and is like, you can't marry her, you know, whatever, and he's like, you're a really great friend to me. And then season 2 when he's like, or like when they dance in season 1. You know what I mean? Just all of
Yeah,
these things. So
they
like,
have their little
yeah,
moments
so I think we
for
had
sure.
enough to where this season it was okay for them to not be so forced on us, like
Yeah,
how Kate and Anthony was,
yeah,
or Daphne and Simon
yeah,
was. I think it was okay because
yeah.
we already know
And
them.
well, I feel like they hit the marks as far as like what it wasn't exactly similar in the book, but the overall of what they were trying to get to for about Colin and Penelope, they hit it. Like
Yeah,
they're like, this is the what's going on, and we're like, okay, cool. And they're like, also, here's everybody else to prepare you guys. Which
yeah,
I mean, I didn't mind it. It just was I know that was like a thing people were
yeah. I think the same thing
concerned
is
about.
probably going to happen for Benedict's season, because we did see
Yeah.
a lot of Benedict in season 1, season 2, and season 3.
Hmm.
We saw a lot of like character development and him
Well,
kind of growing into who he will be in his season. So I feel
yeah,
like
and
it'll be him, and then in the back end, they're probably going to prep us for Eloise or Francesca if they do
which will
show
be
up in the
interesting. Yeah,
season.
because we left off, we're jumping ahead, but at the end of this season, Eloise is going off with Francesca and Lord John Sterling,
Hmm.
right? So, but she does say she has to be back for the ball.
Yeah, she's
So
going
she
to be
will be
back for
back.
the masquerade ball. And I
Yeah.
think maybe she's going to talk about what
They'll
happened
have
there.
to they'll have to introduce the other everybody else. Like maybe Francesco's story will kind of start happening too. Because in Benedict's book, it I don't know, I can't really talk about it, but
Okay.
we'll talk about it later. Sorry, I was just thinking about it, but then I stopped
I've
myself.
only read Benedict's book like half, like a little
Okay.
bit, because I
Well,
got
because like
distracted by the Ravenhood series.
but like so from what I remember in that book is like he and the girl, his love interest, they're like in a cottage. Like she helps bring him back his health or something like that.
I don't think I got
You know?
that far.
Okay, well
I think I'm literally.
your baby boy Benedict gets like super super
Oh
sick.
no, I'll be there.
I know.
Take him to a
Are you
cottage.
okay?
What's the matter?
Okay, so let's get to the differences.
Okay.
Um, the differences. Oh, we just talked about character development. So in the book, it focuses primarily on Penelope and Colin, and then
Hmm.
in the show, like we said, it just kind of like expands more into the secondary characters and the relationships. We're introduced to Francesca,
Hmm.
who was in the first season, who is a different actress,
Yeah.
right? So in season 1, was this season 1 actress in season 2? The girl?
I
Or
think
was she
she
only
was briefly. Do you remember the
in the
scene?
beginning?
Do you remember the scene in season 2 when they had the ball at the Bridgertons and no one showed up?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
they're all
she was in
dancing.
that scene.
Okay, so in season 1 and season 2, Francesca is a different actress, a much younger actress, and then she in season 3, it's a newer actress who shows up. She is the one who is coming out this season,
Hmm.
right? And we're introduced to her. We're trying to get like a feel of who she is, and it's setting us up with her story with Lord Sterling, and then we'll talk about the ending of season 3 with her little twist, which was like mind blowing.
Hmm.
Like I could not believe it.
Yeah.
And then Benedict's in this season again, and it's also setting us up for him in his season. Um, Benedict has his like little literal like menage a trois between that older lady and then her
Yeah.
boothing on the
Hmm.
side. So we get more Benedict, and then Eloise and Penelope's friendship is really shown. I feel like the season really focused a lot on Eloise and Penelope's friendship as well,
Yeah.
which I love. I loved it.
Yeah, I think they needed that like closing on that plot, because
Yeah,
since she was leaving
I
and
had
everything,
to.
yeah, it needed to
Hmm.
kind of move on and I think prepare for
Hmm.
Eloise, because I think in Eloise's story Penelope is plays a role with her. I don't know, I haven't
Yeah,
read it, but I think
I'm
that would make
sure.
sense. Cuz like
Yeah,
in the books all the way up until even towards the end of this one, like actually just even I don't even think they ever had a falling out in
No,
the
they
books at
don't.
all. So it's like
Mm-mm.
I feel like that was just a small thing just to kind of add the drama to the show.
Yeah. Add the drama to the show, and then also like tied in with Cressida, and her situation with the show,
Hmm.
and then also, um, I like how they had to like they fixed their relationship so that it's like fresh again,
Hmm.
at the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we briefly talked about Francesca. So like we said, she's not mentioned in the book, but she has like an entire subplot. She's almost like the secondary person that they focus on.
Hmm.
And she ends up finding her lord, John Sterling, who, when you watched it, did you already know her story?
Yeah, because when I watched it, I was reading her story. And
Okay, so
so,
when you saw them like walk out at when they first met each other, were you
yeah,
like,
I was like, no way. Is that who I think it
yeah,
is? And I was like, and then he said his name, and I was like,
I know.
I was like,
I like, literally paused it and I was like, oh my god, because we're not gonna do spoilers, but if like that is your
yeah.
that's enough spoiler as it's like a lot of emotions.
Hmm.
Their story, their love story is like crazy.
Yeah.
So emotional.
Hmm.
And then we're also introduced at the very end of season 3 to his cousin. Like,
Kayla.
I literally, when he was like, I want you to be my cousin, I was like, oh shit, like they're gonna bring Michael. Cool. And then he was like, Michaela. I like paused the show. I stood up at like 4 in the morning and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but you
Like,
know
does she,
what?
I was like, does she have a twin named Michael? Like, wait, Michaela, it's a girl?
No, because you
Do
know
you want to go
what?
ahead and like explain to our viewers why that's such a big deal?
Yeah, it's okay. People, there's this huge controversy, and even to this day now. People are like signing petitions and shit, which is, I digress. They they
That's
want
ridiculous.
Michael instead of Michaela. But like, listen, I love that because if you think
Why
about it,
not? Like,
as you
why
watch
not?
Francesca in this season, and she
Mhm,
looks at John, she's just like,
mhm,
yeah, you're cute, you know. But there's not that like Bridgerton spark, and we all know what that Bridgerton spark looks like, and
mhm.
what it sounds like, and what it feels like. And
Yeah.
she doesn't have that even when they got married. Like she didn't
I
have
know, and
that.
she almost
As
like
soon as she saw Michaela, it was like an instant, like
yeah.
even like because I and they heavily hinted on it too because that scene before that when she was getting married and she was talking to her mom. Her mom was telling her about when she met her husband, their dad,
Mhm,
and she was
mhm.
like, "I couldn't even speak. Like I was above myself, you
Ooh,
know, or
oh, wait, not
whatever."
her dad. Okay.
Yeah, she was like, "I was beside myself, and like I couldn't speak." And
Yeah, yeah,
Francesca's like, "Sometimes love is different, and it's not like as dramatic as everyone says it is." And then she
mhm.
sees Michaela, and she's like, "Oh my god,
You literally
who
can't
am I? It's
change.
dramatic." Yeah.
Yeah.
And so people are like, I hate it. I don't like it. They shouldn't have
But
done that. And I'm
explain
like,
to our viewers in like without really giving much spoiler who Michael in the storyline is. Michael slash Michaela, essentially.
in Francesca's book,
Yeah.
lower
Like
that
why
down.
is it a big like yeah, like why this character Michael turning into Michaela, like why it's a big deal. Because
So
who is he in the book?
without giving any spoilers, Michael to Francesca is like a really big support system for her. Is like
Mhm.
someone that Francesca can be herself, like her true self. And as we've seen in season 3, she's very to
Different.
herself and she's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
like
yeah.
I like what I like and I don't want to change it. And
Hmm.
Michael, you know, accompanies her with that same vibe, just like how John does.
Hmm.
So he's like that, kind of like that support system that she needed when she moved out there because she didn't know anyone. And then
Hmm.
also later on down the story, you see like how that support system becomes more of what she kind of heavily like relies on.
Yeah.
Without giving any spoilers of what happens, but so
I
he
love
plays a
it.
huge role, and so people are
Yeah.
upset that
I
it's a female,
mean,
and I'm like, I
people
would
are
much rather it be a female because
I love
I
it
love it.
because one that give it's a new take because like
Yep.
we're like okay cool da da da
Mhm.
normal man, woman, man, woman, man, woman. We saw things with Brimsley, you know what I mean? Farmer George Brimsley era. Oh, wait, when I saw a recording of that, I was like laughing so hard. The Brimsley.
And I
Like,
put the
oh
picture.
God.
The picture of Brimsley.
I literally
Okay,
died.
we need to add into our schedule a Queen Charlotte episode because
Okay, we will.
while we wait for season 4 to come out, we need to put in
Okay.
because I have so much to talk about.
Me too. Me too. Okay,
I
we
have to
will.
read the book, but I have so much to
Me
talk
too.
about.
So, we've seen there's, you know, there's inclinations or like hints that, you know, gays, lesbian, like that community is there. So it's like, why not? Like, why
Yeah.
can't it be like Michaela? Why does it have to be Michael?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I think Mazila Vaduza, who is the actress, I think I said her name right. I might have
You did it
butchered
very
it, but thank
well.
you, Mazila.
You did it
Now
with
that
the
I,
first time.
Anyways, I think she's perfect because she has that because when I was reading about Michael's, and his character, he's very like
Mhm.
witty and he's like charming
Yeah.
and he's really like,
Yeah, confident.
he's very
Like,
confident. And
confident.
Michaela, as soon as she walked on the screen, I was
Yeah,
like,
she
that is
she
the
like,
same
yes,
person.
yes, I
And
agree.
if Benedict can do it, why can't
Exactly.
Francesca?
Benedict can do it and everybody be okay with it. Why can't Francesca do it?
Listen,
And you honestly can't judge it until you watch her season.
exactly. And you have to
Watch her-
understand her story.
Yeah.
I feel like they don't know Francesca enough.
Yeah.
I love it.
I know,
Listen,
I feel like
for those people that say that they
resonate.
don't like Michaela and they want it to be a Michael, don't turn around and say that you love baby boy Benedict because they're the same. All right?
You know it. He was getting down.
He's
When
getting down.
Oh my god. Those scenes when he
Him.
like kissed, when he was like kissing her and then
And
he's
then
like kissing him and then like
and I was like, where am I?
and spit your face.
Into my face on both of them. Both of the people.
God.
Oh
No,
my
but
God.
seriously. Okay, so another difference is the timing of it all. So
Mhm.
in the book, Daphne, Anthony, Benedict, and Francesca are all married already in
Yep.
the book.
Mhm.
And then in here, obviously, Daphne has already been married, and then Anthony and Kate just got married.
Yep.
And they're in their like they just had their little honeymoon and now they're ready to like take over as Viscount and Viscountess. But she still wants to be in her honeymoon phase. They're so cute.
I love them. I love them so much.
Anthony is so cute. Just literally wants to have sex with Kate like all day,
All
every
the
day.
time.
Happy
He wants
babies.
the babies.
No. All day.
He's eating.
He does. He can't help everything.
Now that you
And
mention
she's
it,
like, I am the Viscountess. I have to do what I have to do. And he's like, just stop, get back to bed.
he's like, I don't give a
on.
flying, but my ass
He,
is on
like,
the tree.
moves all
You
the
think I
stuff off her,
care?
like, desk and
Yeah.
like
I was like,
"Anthony, you're literally like smart. Oh my
your
god.
parents are in the other room. I know. But now that we
He's
mention,
so giddy around her. Like it's so cute.
yes, I have two things about him because, okay, the first thing is like his character development is amazing and you
Yeah.
get it goes into season 3 and I love to see it because
You
he was like
literally
this really
hated
tough,
him.
like closed off man, and now he's like, I love
He
my
was like
wife.
He was like this man who was like, let's duel every fucking day.
Yeah.
Like he just was so like closed off and just,
Angry.
yeah.
Yeah, he was
And
just
then he
really,
met Kate, and he's literally throughout this whole season just like so happy.
he's just
and
living his best life.
he, like glowing.
Yeah.
Like he's so cute.
And
I love
Kate's
it.
just like, I wear the pants. And he's like,
Yeah, she's
I
like,
love my
calm-
wife.
She's
like, I
like,
love her.
calm down. And he's like, no. Yeah.
I want everyone to know I love you. It's just the cutest. And then also one of the differences too, which I don't know if it's mentioned or not in the notes, but Anthony and Penelope have this cute little friendship, much like how Colin and Kate had this cute friendship in the book. Anthony
Okay.
and Penelope have this like Anthony has this like, I will protect you Like
Yeah.
he has this like brotherly, like older brother
Mhm.
relationship with Penelope, and
Mhm.
you can tell with the way that he treats her and how he talks to her, he would burn down the world for Penelope.
I
Like he literally would
know.
do anything for her. Like when in the beginning of the book when she overhears Colin talking
I
to them,
know.
which
Talking
he's talking
shit.
to the
Honestly,
brothers.
Colin, first of all, you think you're like
T- like
you're
you're hot shit? Like, okay.
you think you're Anthony or Benedict? Calm down.
Nowhere near. But anyways, so like he he's like telling them like, you know, I would never marry
I
Penelope
know.
Featherington,
That like
and
broke my
she
heart.
sees it, like she's in the doorway,
I
and
know.
Anthony looks at her and she's like, I would never marry you, like I didn't even say I would want to, so you should probably, like she was like, you should get that
I
out of your head. I was like,
know.
yes, queen. And but Anthony definitely saw right through that, and he was like,
I
I'm gonna walk
know.
you home because you don't have a maid
Yeah.
to walk you home. And he walks
He's
with
such a
her.
good like older brother.
He's so great, and I love that. And I think
And
they
that's how it's
didn't
shown in the book or
I
in the show.
I honestly, okay, it might be just me thinking because when I read the book and I watched the show, I might just be like, you know, seeing things. But when Kate and Anthony show up to the Bridgerton house and Colin is like, oh, oh no, I don't even think it was Colin that said it. I think Hyacinth was like, they're getting married, they're getting married. And Anthony looks at
His
Colin
face,
like he's
you
about
see
to
his
like hurt
face?
him. He was like,
I
and
know.
Kate was like, we're excited. And I think
I
you can kind
know.
of tell like Anthony was like, you better not hurt her.
What is the quote that he says in the series where he's like, it's like him and the two brothers, Anthony, Benedict, and Colin. They're all like sitting together. Like he just got done like in the carriage scene.
Oh,
And
wait,
he says
yes.
something
Hold on, I'm
like,
gonna look it
in their
up.
and I think like Benedict says like, "Are you gonna duel your brother? Like your own?"
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Because they want to say like,
Look at
Brother, you must tell them. You delay, so I shall.
Benedict.
Colin is engaged to Penelope Featherington.
Hyacinth may be the most excited of us all.
look at his
Congratulations.
face. You can't tell me that face. You can't tell me that
Benedict is
face.
so, like when he's like, tell him.
I know, he's like, please. Like,
Watch,
Oh,
watch.
what
He's
is-
watch.
Brother, you must tell them.
just watch his face. Look at
You
look
delay,
at
so I shall.
Benedict.
Colin is engaged to Penelope
Wait, I want to get that
Featherington.
shot.
Okay.
Look at that face. You can't tell me this face is not, I will kill you. Benedict is like,
God.
I will definitely watch this duel. Colin is like, I love her. Like,
Oh
look
my
at
God. I
And then
know,
this guy's like,
He's probably like,
I heard the carriage ride.
I was waiting outside the door to let them in.
I was knocking and they didn't hear me the first time. Wonder why.
That shit was all rocking.
But it's so good. And then, like, oh, look at, she's so cute.
Have you said these words to her?
The final part, the betrothal, it did all happen rather swiftly.
Ah, it's swift because
Are you going to duel with your own brother?
Swiftly.
Well, you are marrying her, and for all the right reasons, it seems. That's all that matters.
Can we please discuss
tell
how has Colin even washed his hands?
And he walks right into the house and he's like, Mother! Mother! I'm married! He's like, smells his hands. He's like, I'm married.
Shut up.
I'm getting married. Can you smell
They're
it?
like- They're like this, Tiff. They're like, Penelope?
It's that lady whistle down, I smell.
Oh my God. Oh,
But,
that's
like,
so
look at-
wrong.
Look at my
I
baby boy.
know.
Look at my baby
Oh,
boy.
God.
Love him. No, we brought that up.
What?
Okay, we brought that up because
Because
of their relationship. Okay, how Anthony
yeah,
is very
yeah.
protective over Penelope. He's like, it's like Penelope first, Colin second, because
Yeah.
Penelope has always had a shit life, let's be real. And
Yeah.
she's practically part of the family. She goes to tea time every Sunday with the Bridgertons. She's
literally
always
a part of it.
around. Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like he kind of found this like shielding of protection, because I mean he has that same thing with the other girls in the family. So Daphne, you can see it.
Well, 'cause,
Eloise, you can
it's
kind of
like,
see it, but not really, because
you know,
Eloise is on her own. So
yeah, and Anthony's the oldest, so he looks at all of them and
Mhm.
tries to take care of them. So
Penelope is just part of that.
yeah. Okay, another difference is the whole thing about Lady Whistledown.
Oh yeah, that's always gonna
So-
be a difference.
In the book, Eloise, first of all, didn't know until the very end during the reveal. So she was like part of it with everybody else as far as like finding out that Penelope is Lady Whistledown.
Mhm.
And in the show, she found out back in season 2.
Yeah,
Like
at the
she
end.
found out, yeah. She found out that Penelope was Lady Whistledown. And I get why they had to do it, because you have to like the whole time Eloise is trying to figure out like who is Lady Whistledown. Like she's amazing. And then when Lady Whistledown writes about who's that guy that she liked, Eloise?
Theo.
Yeah, that's when she got like, that's why it hurt her. I feel like it hurt her so much, because she's like, you ruined my name, you wrote about my family, you write about me, like you write about your own family, like
Why
it's
do you
messed
do that?
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like I like that difference, because in the show there's all this tension, and you're rooting for Penelope and Eloise to like become friends again.
Mhm.
And then it also causes a torn between Eloise and Penelope, but then it also ties in with Cressida. Is her name Cressida?
Yeah. Cressida
Okay.
Cowper.
It ties in with Cressida, because Eloise like becomes friends with Cressida in
Yeah.
this season, and which was like crazy.
Yeah, it was a
To me.
huge shock to everyone,
Yeah.
because it doesn't happen in the book.
No, and then in the book, when Eloise finds out that Penelope is Lady Whistledown, she's like not even mad, and she even says, and I quote, of course you should not have told me. I could never have kept this a secret. Like she's like, this is amazing, like I'm so proud of you, like very like
Mhm.
girls
It's
girl,
very
like
supportive.
yeah. And then in the book, another difference is like Colin finds out that Penelope is Lady Whistledown before Eloise does, obviously. And then even finds out before he even proposes to Penelope.
Yeah.
So picture in your mind, he finds out that Penelope is Lady Whistledown. He proposes. Wait, finds out she's Lady Whistledown. The carriage scene happens, and then he proposes.
Mhm.
And then in the show, he finds out after the carriage scene, after the engagement, like literally before their wedding. It was like the night before their wedding. Remember, like they're all walking the streets and
Yeah, she goes into a carriage secretly to drop off a letter, because Cressida had announced that she was Lady Whistledown, which is another difference that I'll bring up later. But she goes into the carriage. Colin is like, you shouldn't be in a carriage by yourself at this late of an hour. So he follows her, and then he sees her leaving the shop where she drops off her letters, and he's like, it's you, which happens somewhat like it does in the book, but instead
it's just the timing of it all is
and the
just
placing
different.
too, because Penelope never really took it to the actual lettering place. She drops it off in like a pew at a church, and then one of her little servant boys comes and gets it, and then so like she's in the church, and Colin follows follows her, and he's like, why are you in this church? Why are you in this bad side of town? Why are you by yourself? What's going on? And she's like, nothing. And he's like, well, what'd you put in that pew? And she's like,
I feel like in the book, Colin was way more aggressive than he was in the show. Like in the book, when I read him and the things he says to Penelope and the way he acts, I was like, red flags. And I was like, Colin, like you're being so jelly belly. You're just jealous that she's a better writer than you are. With all your troubles, you're not as good as a writer, but that's okay. But like he is like aggressive, like the
Yeah.
things he says to her. And in the show, he was mad, but his like he like kind of like kept it to himself. He stayed very like
Mindful, very demure.
yeah, he like kept it to himself, and he was just like, I'm gonna sleep on this couch. Like, shut
Yeah.
the fuck up.
He was
With
a
your
baby.
wife and
Yeah.
have sex with her. Don't sleep on the couch.
Yeah. Don't be a bitch baby.
Yeah. Seriously. Another
whole thing.
difference is as we know, Queen Charlotte is not in the books.
Mm-hmm.
So the difference is in the book when you're searching for Lady Whistledown as far as like revealing who she is, it's Lady Danbury who puts the reward out. And then in the show it's the Queen Charlotte. But it's still the same. Like the reward is still out there. It's just who puts it out there is different.
Yeah.
Okay. Felicity Featherington, who is not in the show.
Who the fuck is Felicity? I'm just kidding. Who?
Who?
The dog?
So a difference is Felicity Featherington, who we mentioned in our last podcast, is Penelope's little sister. She's like the other Featherington daughter. So
Mhm.
there's 4 daughters in the book, and in the show there's only 3.
Mhm.
And her mom tries hooking up this daughter with Colin.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember in the book, it was like when they go there to like tell her mom that like he's marrying his daughter, he's like, I am to marry your daughter in the book, and she's like, oh my god, Felicity, like
And then
Felicity,
Colin's
no,
like,
and he's like, no, it's Penelope, and she's like, no, like nobody was gonna want to marry
Yeah.
Penelope,
like
Felicity's
Penelope is
serious.
set up to be a spinster.
Yeah, and then Colin got like in the book, similar to the show, is so like excuse me, like she's good enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, ooh. And then
Yeah,
like,
when he
yeah,
stands up to the mom, I liked that scene
me
because
too.
there has always been this like thing with Penelope and her mom, and
Yeah.
Penelope never had the courage to really like show her mom like, this is
Yeah.
me, this is who I am, this
Yeah.
is what I want to do, and like you have to just accept it. And
Mhm.
even when Penelope would mention like Colin and stuff, she's like, you have to let these little dreams go out of your head because it's not gonna
Yeah.
happen. And then Colin's like, it is happening. Like he's like,
Yeah.
I
He's
love
like-
your daughter.
he's
I'm
like,
gonna marry
"Come on."
her. He's like, you
Yeah.
don't deserve her. Like
And I
you know what
remember,
I
like,
mean?
Yeah, and in the show, she's like, thank you for like talking to my mom, like standing up for me. And he's like,
Yeah.
I love you. She's
And
like,
he's like, show me your boobs.
stand in front of the
Stand in
mirror.
front of the
and
mirror
cry.
and show me how much you really appreciate it.
Oh my god,
I know.
seriously. And then another is Lord Zebling.
Oh yeah.
So he is not in the books whatsoever. He is a character they added into the show.
Much like Theo.
Yes.
Mm.
So they had to do it. I get why they had to add him as kind of like to show almost like a push to Colin. Like
Yeah.
there is somebody who is willing to marry her. There is somebody who likes her enough to like wed her. Like she's good enough. Like this is what you're missing out on.
Yeah.
And
That's what you're missing
I
out on.
love it. Like his character, it's like whatever, but like I love
didn't
it.
mind his character. I kind of liked him.
Whatever.
He was a good setup for Penelope because Penelope was very much like she wanted to keep her secret as Lady Whistledown. She wanted
Yeah.
to
And he
just
was
be
cool with
her on
that.
her own, you know, like she wanted to read and just live
Yeah.
her life as is. And he
Totally.
was
I
like,
love-
well, I'm gonna travel so you can stay in the house and do your little things.
Yeah.
And I'll come back every like 2 years. And she's like,
Yeah.
bet.
She's like, it's perfect.
I love
Wait,
it.
I love when she was like, I love grass.
Yo, yeah. I love grass. Okay, wait, can we talk about the scene when she goes, like when
When
she
she
first
falls?
comes out? No, when she first
Oh.
comes out in the dress. Okay,
The
two
green
things
emerald
about
dress?
that. Yeah, two things about that because one, three things. That dress is popping. She looked great. I loved
So
it. Love the
cute.
color. It just
remember,
looks
like,
so good
when
on
it
her.
happened, I was like, yeah.
I was like, ooh, get it, girl. That is my wallflower right there.
I know.
The second one was the brother-in-law, when everyone in the room was like, ew, Penelope, what the hell? And then the brother-in-law was like, oh, that's my sister. I love her. He's like, she
Yeah,
looks amazing.
Yeah,
I was
he's
like,
so
I love that.
supportive.
Yeah, he's so supportive. And then when she is standing and getting drinks and they're like, oh, Lady Featherington, like, how are you? And she's like, I like to read. Like, she just like keeps rambling.
Her name is so funny in the beginning.
I was like, that's me for sure. If someone were to ask me
She's
what I like to
like-
do, I'd be like, I like to read.
they're like, you look very nice, and she's like, thank you.
Yeah. You look
too.
beautiful as well. He's like,
I mean, in your outfits, yes.
yeah. They're like,
No, it was so it's so cute and it's so innocent.
Yeah.
And then wait, can we take a second to like segment? I love how in this by now we've gone, since what 2020 was when the first season happened.
Yeah.
It's now 2024. They have like included so many different like in the beginning when the queen is trying to find her diamond, there is someone who's deaf.
mm-hmm.
And then when like Penelope is flirting, there's someone who's like handicapped.
Oh my god, he was
One-
my favorite. He
Yeah,
is so he goes,
like-
I love the tea. And I was like, yes.
Like it was, I love when I saw it. I was like, oh my god, that's so awesome! Like,
Yeah.
why not?
I love the inclusion.
I loved it.
It was good. It was a
Yeah.
really good season for that. Loved it.
Yeah. So yeah, Lord Debling, he's there to just kind of give that like push to Colin, and then also it sets up where like Colin's like, I will help you find a husband. Like, we'll find you. I'll teach you how to flirt. I've learned many a ways.
He's
in my
like, if there's
travels."
one thing I've learned in my travels, it's that charm can be taught. And I'm like, bitch, your travels has nothing to do with that. You
Yeah,
could have just
and
said
then,
that.
wait, this
You
is his
could have just
travel.
said that.
This is it right here.
Oh yeah. That's what he learned from his
That's what he
travels.
learned.
How to wink? Are you joking?
And you hate it.
That's
and
not
you hate
charm.
it.
I hate it. I hate his wink. That whole thing.
Um,
He did it 8 times the first episode, I
Love
think.
it. Or like when he first gets introduced, like he's coming off and he's sitting in the carriage, and like that one like lady drops her
She's
glove. and he's
like-
wait.
And he
He like
looks at it and he's like, bitch.
this is her like her hand.
Yeah, I'm like,
I was like, ew.
he's so cringy. Wink at
Oh
me
my
and
God,
see what
he's
happens.
And he's such a rake. Like he'd be going to
Mhm.
the pool and shit, and like watching these girls, two girls. I was like,
Yeah.
Colin.
I was like, you are not Benedict. Don't be trying to be
a
like him.
gentleman.
He doesn't know who he is.
He
I hated
doesn't.
it.
He really
He
doesn't.
tried to be like Benedict. No one can be like Benedict. He tried to be like Antony, trying to find a wife or whatever,
Yeah.
but not really trying to find a wife.
Yeah. And I love that's what like Penelope is like, you don't know who you are.
Yeah,
Like you think you're this whatever that you're back from your travels, and you're not.
yeah, that's not who you
And she
are.
remember she like hella calls him out in the article
Yeah.
in her gossip column.
Which, by the way, can we talk about that? Whatever she said, I can't remember what it was, but I remember thinking, like, after he read it, I remember thinking, like, that's not even that bad, because someone said that to him
Yeah.
to his face at the ball. Someone was like,
Yeah.
you're very different. Like, you're very, like, you're
Yeah,
just
yeah,
a different person right now.
Mhm.
And Colin was like, yeah, my travels. And
Yeah.
Lady Whistledown literally
the
says the same
girls-
thing, and he's like,
all the girls at the balls are like at the ball is like, oh my god, Colin,
Yeah.
Colin, and he's like, hey,
yeah, he's like, you
what
beautiful
the fuck?
flowers. Like, bitch, I don't like Colin
I
very
know.
much. Not a fan.
Okay, so a difference, but not really that different. The carriage scene. I get giddy talking
Sad.
about it. Yeah. Okay, I'm only gonna just talk about the difference real quick on it.
Okay.
So the carriage scene takes place after, like we mentioned, after Colin finds out that Penelope is Lady Whistledown. They literally get in the book, like they get into like an argument about it. And then he like gets like turned on and like they do
Yeah.
it in the carriage.
He's like, you know what? I'm feeling it.
Yeah, he's like, I love this banter.
Yeah.
Ooh. And then after the carriage scene and the proposal, the carriage stops at the Featherington house in the book,
Mhm.
where that's where Colin asks Penelope's mom for permission to marry, and that's when she thinks it's towards Felicity.
Mhm.
In the show, the kerosene takes place before Colin finds out that Penelope is Lady Whistledown.
Mm-hmm.
He actually like chases after her.
He
I was like,
runs.
oh my
I
god, when
loved
that
it.
happened, I was like, get her, like
Run,
freaking
Colin,
get her.
run.
And yeah, it happens after Lord Devlin like denies their marriage towards Penelope because Lord Devlin sees that like Penelope is into Colin and Colin is into Penelope.
Yeah,
like,
because they're literally in the midst of a dance and Colin just like rushes up to them and he's like, I need to speak with you. And she's like, bitch.
because it's at this point he realizes like because he like goes to the brothel a second time and like doesn't want to be involved and they're like you can just watch us and he's like I guess and then he's like not even really watching them and then he comes in late and then Mama Violet Bridgerton with her tits up
Yes.
was
Big
like,
tits mom.
coming in late again, Colin, and he's just like whatever, I don't feel good. And she's like, too bad. And she knows,
Mhm.
right?
Because
And
she
she's
knows
like,
everything.
yeah.
She knows
And
everything.
she's like, too bad. Like, I hear Lord Devlin is to propose to Penelope. And that's when he's like,
Well, maybe I'll go.
oh my God. The scene where he's like sitting there in the dark at his like desk, like looking at his journals and just like thinking and is like, I need to get there. I was
Yeah.
like,
I
get
liked the
there.
scene about when he's talking to his mom. It's like,
The first time.
yeah, like, is it like you said that like like love
Mhm.
has a foundation, like a friendship, like
Mhm.
whatever, like the foundation is friendship and stuff. And she's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's usually how it goes. Like that's how it
And
went
she
with me
wants
and
to
your
like
father.
keep talking about it. She's like, is this about
Yeah, she's like,
and he's like,
you know, she was like, what makes you, and he's like, oh, I'm just
Yeah.
worried about Francesca. Like he uses Francesca
Yeah.
as an excuse.
yeah.
And she looks at him and he's looking at Penelope because he can't stop. And she looks
know.
at Penelope and
It's
she's
so
like,
cool.
she said, wait till Anthony hears about this.
She was like, I totally have to tell Lady Danbury.
I have to tell
Hold
Lady
on.
Danbury right now. I'll be back. And then like when
Wait,
Penelope
wait.
is dancing with Lord Devlin
Mhm.
and Colin is watching, Lady
Yeah.
Lady Bridgerton looks at Colin and was like,
I know. I
make
was like,
your
are you gonna do
move.
something? I know.
Don't let it pass.
Wait, I love real quick. I love the part with like I think it's this season where like Benedict is literally being like hassled by or remember he like dances with that
Mhm.
girl
He
and they're like
dances with
following
one
him.
girl. Oh my
They're
god,
like
I love it.
obsessed. And then I love how he's like standing like staring at a picture. Or no, he's like trying to run away and like Lady Danbury is like standing there and he's like, hi, like great
Yeah.
picture. And she's like, you're gonna walk me if you're gonna talk to me.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I love the decor, and she's like, at least get me a drink. Come on. Like she's just so over it. She's like, whatever.
I love it.
I'm excited to see how Lady Danbury is gonna be during Benedict's story. She's
Yeah.
probably gonna be more focused on like Violet, if anything. But I really hope that she has a she's crying. I really
Okay,
hope
just keep going.
yeah, I really hope that Lady Danbury has like a story with Benedict and she has like a moment with
Yeah.
him because
Help.
I would love that because we all
Okay,
know Benedict, so I don't know. I don't want to
I
get into
know.
it. I don't want to get
So
into
we'll
it.
talk. So it's a transition to Lady Danbury because she's on the list for the differences. So in this book, Lady Danbury and Penelope are actually really close friends. Like
Yes.
they gossip a lot together during the balls, and it's even in the book she tells Penelope like, "I always knew it was you. Like,
Yeah.
I never believed it was Crested. Like it was always you." And in the show, she does still share that, like, I always knew it was you at the end, but they don't have a lot of scenes together. Like, they're not close like they are in the book. And then,
Mhm.
in fact, like, Lady Danbury's confidant is the queen. Like,
Yeah.
they're close, as we know during, like,
Queen Charlotte.
yeah, in Queen Charlotte.
Mhm.
And then Lady Danbury brings in a new character for us, Marcus Anderson,
Oh
who
yeah.
is the gardener. That's what we call him. He's the gardener
Yeah.
for Lady Violet Bridgerton,
Mhm.
which is a callback to
Queen
Queen Charlotte.
Mhm.
So Marcus is Lady Danbury's brother, and there's like obviously a falling out between them. And we don't really know why she's so like upset with him until later on when they have like a conversation about it.
Mhm.
Like he is like smitten over High City Lady.
He can't
Violet.
get enough of them titties. He can't
Like
get.
he is upset, and I love how
Upset.
she's just like. I love how like Mama, uh, Violet Bridgerton is just like, oh yeah, like it's cute. It's good to see
Yeah.
you again. Like hi.
She's like kind of smitten herself. Like she's like flustered.
Like, do you remember when they have a visitor and they're like, there's a visitor, and they're like, oh, it's for Francesca or it's whatever, and they're like, no, it's for you. It's Marcus, and she's like, oh, it's like a visitor for me.
She's like,
Like,
I'm but a
yes.
spinster.
A widower. I
She's
was
like, bring him
"Oh."
in.
I know. I love it. I love that there's that. I don't know how it's gonna turn or where it's gonna go, but I love it. I
Yeah.
love that they add that in the show.
I do enjoy that a lot. I don't know. I read somewhere that they said that he wasn't gonna be in
I
this
read
next
that
season.
too.
So, but I hope he is because I kind of like that for her.
Me too. And
She
if
gets
not,
a
then
chance.
she finds somebody. If not the gardener, a different gardener,
Yeah,
somebody.
I hope they do like a
honey,
spin-off.
Like, honey, don't be upset. Like, you can be with Lady Danbury's brother because Lady Danbury was trying to get with your daddy.
And not trying.
Did.
Yeah, and they have a conversation about that too, like a very unspoken
I know.
like
Oh my god.
conversation.
The clown.
That whole
that-
scene where she's like, my father was a good man and
Mhm.
you are a better
He's
friend.
literally like,
And I was like,
I don't want to. I know.
I was like, stop. They're cute. I
You
love
have to watch
them.
Queen Charlotte to like truly get it.
Yeah.
But it's so good. I love that I love that in this season they brought that back for like a closing for us as the viewers who obviously watched Queen Charlotte.
Mhm.
Like, because I remember watching Queen Charlotte and I was like, how are they gonna like? She
They
found
never
out.
talk about it. Yeah, they don't
You know
talk
what I mean?
about
We're
it.
like, what? And then I like that they included that in there.
Mhm.
Okay, do you want to talk about the before the wedding, Daphne versus Kate and Anthony? Do you know the difference?
Oh yeah, so in the book, Colin
Mhm.
goes and has a conversation with Daphne.
Literally travels.
Yeah, he literally
her.
goes to where she is and
Mhm.
asks advice about Penelope and tries to figure out,
the best way.
he just wants to like clear his head and get some advice from someone. And in
Yeah.
the show, it's not Daphne and he doesn't travel. It's Kate and Anthony who travel to them for the wedding.
for the
And
wedding.
he runs
Mhm.
into them and they have this cute little exchange, which I enjoyed that exchange. I thought Kate
Me too.
carried that scene because in the book it was supposed to be Daphne, and so Kate
Yeah.
was the one that was like, okay, like you just need to fucking sort that shit out, okay? You love her.
Yeah, like whatever your drama is, like drop it.
Yeah, she's like, you
And
love
Kate's
Penelope.
Like that, and she's like that too with Eloise. Like her and Eloise have their little moment.
hmm
Where she's like, I don't know, what's causing this drama between you and everybody's like, what's up with you and Penelope? Like, it's weird. But I like how Kate is taking the role of Viscountess and like the motherly role to all the siblings and like trying to just be there for everybody. I loved it. I love that they brought them back. I don't think they'll be back next season because they're going to India.
Anthony is confirmed, but I don't know about Kate.
Probably not.
She
She'll
said
probably
that she wants to be in it, but I think they're just trying to figure out where to put her.
put her.
Yeah.
Um,
So Kate and Anthony fill that role of Daphne, which I'm not mad about because I'm kind of over
Neither.
it. I'm kind
I
of over
liked it.
Daphne and the Duke now.
Same.
I love Daphne and her character, but I'm like, you found your ending
Yeah.
and
I
you've
love-
moved to a different place. So
Like, I remember when they got married and I didn't even question like where they were. I was just like, whatever.
Yeah.
They're not there. Who cares?
I was like, it
But
is what it is. But I'm
Yeah.
happy that Anthony and Kate had that moment with Colin because that
They have a
also
lot
just
of-
kind of trickles into the relationship that Kate and Colin were supposed to
Yeah.
have. because
Yeah.
they're supposed to have this friendship, and I think
Yeah.
Kate like kind of filled that air with
Mhm.
like this, like we have this good thing. So
Yeah.
I liked it. It was good.
Yeah, I liked it too. Okay, so before I dive into like this big one that I want to talk about, but let's talk about like the hot air balloon scene in the show because
Oh
that is not
yeah.
in the book whatsoever. And it's not in the book because it's really about okay, I feel like it's in the show because one, you have the situation with Lord Debling,
hmm
Cressida's trying to like get Lord Debling's like which I would have like if Cressida and Lord Debling got together, like cool. You know what I mean? Like that would have been fine. But then it also introduced us to Benedict's love interest in this series,
Yeah.
Miss Tilly.
Yeah.
Tilly.
Tilly, I think Tilly.
Okay. It introduced us to her, so we had to get introduced to her in order for like their storyline to like unfold. And then also it shows like more of a connection between Colin and Penelope. So like Colin's obviously obsessed with like Penelope, starting to get the feelings as she eats her little like cupcake,
Yep.
and he's just like, oh, it's like,
He said,
yeah.
"I'll be back."
And
I have to
remember,
go.
when he's walking away, he's like eating a cupcake.
He's
He's like, staring at her.
She's not gonna look at you like you just did to her.
I'm like, dude, that's not her cupcake.
It's
You eat her cupcake
Yeah.
later in the carriage.
come on.
Um, and then it also shows like how he like wants to protect her. Obviously, when like the hot air balloons
About to
coming
attack
out.
her. She doesn't go sideways, she goes back, and I'm like, bitch just moved to the left.
I know.
I was like,
And then it also introduces us to Francesca because Francesca is like considered the diamond of the season or the
Mhm.
emerald. I don't know what they call her,
the
but
diamond.
yeah, of the queen.
Mhm.
And the queen's like, oh, this is so and so. Like, I think you guys are a perfect match. So
Yeah.
it like kind of has to like trickle that into it. But
Mhm.
the other difference that I have is, and this one bothered me, was when Lady Whistledown is revealed to be Penelope.
Mhm.
When I read it in the book, so I read the book before I watched the show. When I read it in the book, I was like, fucking Colin, like you redeemed yourself because
Yeah.
you're like literally an ass throughout this whole book series and so jelly of her.
Mhm.
And like when you are the one who like stands up in front of everybody and like pretty much, and he says this whole line, and I have it here and I want to say it because I
Okay,
like
say it.
literally loved it. He stands, so it's like the same setting,
Mhm.
and he's gonna reveal, and he's like, you might say that my wife has two maiden names. Of course, you all knew her as Penelope Featherington, as did I. But what you didn't know, and what even I was not clever enough to figure out until she told me herself, and he paused, waiting for silence to fall over the room, is that she is also the brilliant, the witty, the breathtakingly magnificent. And he's like, oh, you all know who I'm talking about. He's like, I give you my wife, Lady Whistledown. Like, he's so
Yeah.
proud that
He like
she
shows
is
her
like,
off.
like so proud of her. And then in this show, she's the one, Penelope is the one who reveals to the audience, to everybody, that she's Lady Whistledown.
Mhm.
And I like it. I mean, I like it because it kind of gives her like a woman of confidence and like, this is me. This is my situation. This is who I am. I want to tell everybody, which was fine. But like, I loved the book version of like Colin being the one to like that whole when I remember reading it and I was like, oh my god, I loved it.
Yeah, I think it gave him the book version gave him the redemption that he needed because he was a bit of an asshole in the book. And I think in the show, like you said, it was good for Penelope to do it herself because it's like she's standing up for herself and she's very like confident with who she is. But I think it was good. Yeah, and I think it was good that Colin didn't do it because Colin didn't need that redemption of being an ass. Even though he was kind of a dick, he kind of understood it because he was hurt. Yeah. He was making it worse. He was like, she's like, I'll pay her. And he's like, no, I'll talk to her.
And she's like, I'll pay. And everyone's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you got the kind of money to pay? She's like, yeah, honey, I'm fucking
She's like, probably more.
like, yeah. Like he makes it worse.
Yeah, he
And
does.
I feel like in the show they make him feel like he feels like he can't take care of her. And like there's that whole scene where he's like, what am I if I can't
Protect
like
you.
who am
Yeah.
I? Yeah, and because she's like, I can take care of myself, and he's like, but who am I then to you? Like that, like broke me. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god,
It's really
he just wants
sad.
to protect her.
But I think, like,
And then he like kisses and like gropes her and stuff.
yeah, it's weird. But I think like it's good because Colin needed that humbling, like,
Yeah,
a relationship is not a man taking care of a woman. Like, especially in that era. Like, yes, that's the carbon copy of what a marriage is.
Mhm.
And Colin just wants to follow that. But we all know the Bridgertons aren't regular carbon copy people. They like Kate and Antony's story was so not carbon copy, and Daphne and the Dukes, I mean, yes, it was carbon copy, but inner feelings were so different, and you know, whatever. So Colin's like, I just want this, like, I want to be the man, and Penelope's like, I'm gonna fucking humble you right now. I don't need no man. I just need you to love me, like I
and
love
now
you.
he's like, we can be partner. We
Yeah,
need to be
I need
partners
us to be
and not you
equal.
taking. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I loved it.
I did love that. I love that
I
whole
loved
thing.
it
It was good.
because like in the book, she like uh in the book she convinces Colin and like gives him that support to like write his own novel, like a book about his like journeys.
Yeah.
So like she's very like supportive, and all she wants is him supporting her.
Yeah.
So
And I think Colin realizes that towards the end in both
Yeah.
show and in the book.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it was good. I don't know if it's on here. No, okay, so one thing that isn't on the differences and similarities is Cressida. So we
Mhm.
know that Cressida and Eloise were never friends in the book.
Mhm.
But they were in the show, obviously to add the dramatic, you know,
Yeah, with
storyline
Penelope.
between Eloise and Penelope.
Mhm.
But Cressida also was married already in the book.
Yeah.
And she is a widow in the book. So she marries that man that I think that shows up in the show, and he's like
Yes.
already old, and he's like, I
Yeah.
want babies. And she's like, does it still work?
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
he in the book, she's a widow to him. And when Lady Danbury is talking about Lady Whistledown,
Mhm.
she overhears it and has this idea of
Mhm.
like, I need since I'm a widow, I have nothing.
Mhm.
I'm going to announce myself as Lady Whistledown, which she does in the
Mhm.
show, but I think she does it at a ball in front of everyone.
Yeah.
And I think that whole storyline was interesting because it gave us an idea of who Cressida was in the show. In the
Mhm.
book, we don't really get that.
Yeah.
In the show, they
we
kind
just-
of trinkle in like why she is the way she is. Doesn't make her. It doesn't redeem her
because like she's been in the beginning, right? Like
Yeah.
you've seen Cressa literally throughout the whole season,
Mhm.
but like this is where you really like the first 2 seasons. She's so mean to Penelope, like
Mhm.
just so rude. And so when you see her in this season, you're like, God, I hate this girl.
Yeah, and
With
I
the
think
weird ass sleep.
her. It was like 2 pillows and some fabric over it. I'm like,
that's how I should have came in here.
I
was
know
like,
I should have had
"Dude."
2 pillows in my shirt, but like
She literally was like,
I think they like I
"Doing
don't
this,
know.
yeah."
Yeah. Like, hello, what are you doing that for? I think in the show they tried to give her some sort of like feel bad for me type
Mhm.
deal. Like she had a shitty home life.
Yeah.
It hasn't found a love interest at all.
Yeah.
So she's like kind of like I
It's
don't
like,
have
my
anything.
parents are gonna make me marry this old ass man.
But it's like, okay, but you're still that doesn't excuse how even after like Eloise brings it up and they
Yeah.
talk about it, like even after all that, you're still a bitch. Like
Yeah.
and
Like she even still like goes to like Mrs. Featherington,
Mhm.
Penelope Featherington, and like literally blackmail.
like that
blackmails
doesn't
both. Like, and then when Colin tries to like fix it, she's literally like, I went
well, double it.
Yeah.
You traveled, double it.
Yeah.
Like it's just this whole thing.
So let's talk about the similarities because there's very few, but the ones that are similar, it's very
Smut.
Yeah. So the first one is not the timing of the carriage scene, but the carriage scene
Yeah,
in general,
the
like what
entire
goes
scene.
down
Mm-hmm.
in the carriage scene. I remember watching it. Okay, so I remember it's like again 4 a.m. because
Yeah.
I've been here like midnight. I'm by myself downstairs in my living room with my Bridgerton candle burning. And I'm like sitting there, and when I see the carriage, I see him like run off to her, and he gets in there. I was like, "Oh my god, it's gonna happen!"
The carriage scene.
They cue the music.
Pitbull.
and I remember like pause again, stood up, and was like pacing around my house. I was like, I can't like. I was like, this is everything. This is everything. I was like, oh
yeah,
my
it's so
God.
good. It's so good.
Played it, and I was like, loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it, and I was like, he's such a gentleman.
taking care of her. It was a good
Uh,
scene. It was really good. It was exactly
so
how when I read
good.
it was exactly how I imagined it when they did the show,
Yes.
and I was like, there
I
it
was
is.
like,
There it
it's
is.
so good, so cute. Like he's so respectful of her, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Can I?" And she's like, "Yeah."
She's like, don't fucking ask me this shit. I've been waiting 10 years for
Yeah.
this.
I love it.
Yeah.
And then I also loved their first kiss. Okay, I laughed so hard. Their first kiss when he's
Oh,
like in the show. The setting is different because in the book he's like it's like afternoon, daytime, and then
Yeah.
in the show it's like at nighttime.
mhm.
But he goes to like see her to see if she's like okay. Like that part was so when they were like making fun of her because like everyone in the ball found out that like Colin is helping Penelope
Mhm.
find a husband. Like it was so sad. I
Yeah.
feel so bad for her.
It was really sad.
But when he goes to like find her and like talk to her and she's like I don't want to die not having been kissed. I'd be dead.
And he's like, you're not gonna die.
you'd already be dead. How would you know?
Yeah. It's so funny.
It was like word for word from
Yeah.
the book. For like when that scene happened, I was like, oh my god.
So-
And then
yeah.
he dreamt it. like, in more
Yes.
intense,
And it
I
was
like,
very steamy. Like there was a lot of fog, and I was like,
cue the fog.
yeah. I was like, oh my god.
And he wakes up, he's like, oh fuck. Like, I love this girl.
Yeah. He's like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
He's very like, I did not see that coming.
I was
I
like,
thought it was
whoa.
cute. He did, yeah. That is a similarity. She asks him to kiss
like,
her
the
because she's
whole
like, I'm
line.
not gonna have anyone. I've never been kissed before. I'm probably never gonna kiss anyone. She's like, I could die
could die
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Yeah, and I'll never be kissed. And he's like,
She's like, I would never know what it's like. And he's like, but you would be dead.
yeah. And he's like,
I love that scene.
He's like, but we're friends. And she's like, I don't give
Yeah.
a fuck.
She's like, please. And he's
Yeah.
like, okay. And
Yeah.
they do it.
He's
And I was
like-
like, it's
He
so,
just goes right in. And I was like,
so cute.
he's been anticipating
Well,
it.
she, like-
Don't-
He like runs away.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the whole thing.
She's like, thank you.
Yeah.
Run. And then when they see each other the next day at the promenade, when they're like walking,
hmm
they're like, how are you?
Yeah.
Good, how are
Yeah.
you?
It's so awkward.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Fine. It's so cute. They go under the
Um,
tree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cute.
That was a cute scene. I like it. Penelope's maid that walks around with her.
Yeah,
I love her because you know she knows.
She
Like
gets
she's
it.
like
she gets
they love
it.
each other, but they don't know yet. So I'm
Yeah.
just I'm just
She
gonna give
gets
them the
it.
side eye and let them
I
talk.
love it. Yeah.
She's like, I was there when they kissed. I was behind the wall. She can't go outside alone.
I
I have
know.
to go with her.
And then I liked the scene that they had where Penelope's reading Colin's journal
Mm-hmm.
and he catches her and they kind of go through like this quick little argument and then like he like cuts his hand on like the glass
Mm-hmm.
and like she like mends it. Like that was in the book and I was like, I remember reading it and I was like, so cute. And then
Yeah.
they did it and I was like, okay, cool. Like they took that scene.
Yeah, I did like
I really
that
like
too. Because
that.
that kind of like it kind of opened his eyes to her a little bit. I think that was like one of the one of the first, probably not the first,
Yeah.
but one of the first like awakenings he had of her, of like she can take care of me and she's very caring, despite me just now yelling at her.
I know.
She still would take care of my
It's
broken hand. And I was
ridiculous.
like, Colin, fuck off.
I know.
God.
And then you briefly mentioned Cressida's downfall. So like she blackmails is the same thing, and she's like coming out as Lady Whistle.
Mhm.
Wait, in the show when she like says she's Lady Whistledown, she's like, I am Lady Whistledown. I was like, honey, no. And I love how like her and her mom are trying to like write out like
Yeah. That scene where she's at that tiny little desk.
They're
and she's
like-
like,
I am Lady Whistledown. What do I say?
yeah.
Her mom's like, you even know the fucking right?
Yeah.
Like,
You have
what
no
the
writing
heck?
skills.
Nuts.
I thought that was funny. I think
I did
that
too.
scene in the show though was funny because she's announcing that she's Lady Whistledown. Eloise is like, you need to tell Colin before midnight or I will
know,
fucking tell
there's
him.
so much
Penelope's having
happening.
a panic attack. Anthony
Literally-
and Kate are like, we're pregnant. And like chaos. Just
Dude,
absolute chaos.
I loved when they went to play that game.
Yeah.
And then
Anthony.
like, Lex, or whatever.
Wait, I'm gonna play
Okay,
it. I'm gonna
find
play
it.
that scene because that scene is so funny because he's like,
Oh
Ladies!
my-
She's like, no, Anthony, please. You're being too loud.
Benedict tried to
Spring. Surely
You
a
see
flower of some
Lilies.
kind.
Forget me not. Lilacs!
Ease is
Lilacs!
conveyed to one's heart by the comfort of
Yeah,
family.
lilies. Forget me not. Lilacs!
Eloise is correct.
That's it. And look at your boy Benedict in the background after she talks.
Family.
He's like,
My whole is a product of spring.
A product of spring. Surely a flower.
I think he does it again.
Yeah.
Denotes a recluse. My third forms a part of the ear. My whole is but a quibble.
Something none.
Yes,
Earlobe.
No,
Earlobe.
no
Elope.
Is it not a conundrum?
Anthony, did you see his face? No. Wait, look
Ear,
at his
my
face
whole
when
is
she,
but a quibble.
when she
Something
says
none.
something.
Earlobe.
No,
Earlobe.
no,
Get up. Get up.
Is it not a conundrum?
Very
so bad.
He said,
It is friendship, is it not?
It is.
I love their like back and forth.
Yeah.
Her and
The
Eloise.
rest of us to
Oh my
participate
god,
in
not
games
even
well.
her
There's
face,
a
but her
history
hair.
against it.
what? Her hair?
What's her?
Oh, what is that? It's a hat, but it's her hair.
I know. She's literally like this. Hold on.
Yeah. And her hair doesn't look brushed or anything.
Like this, Tim, like- She's like,
No, venture for, venture in.
It's so good.
It is friendship, is it not? Participate in the games well.
And then the scene, right? The scene
Oh my
where
Lady Danbury, we have some news.
so much happening.
it's a lot. Look at them.
We are expecting. Oh, that is the best news.
The music.
I know. Look at it. She's having
God.
a ball.
And she's like now. And
then this bitch.
Excuse us, everyone.
I have an announcement to make for us.
You would like to know who Lady Whistledown is? You shall know.
Look at it.
I am her.
I am she.
Lady Danbury is like, no.
Yeah. Look at Anthony is like the first to move.
No.
Anthony is the first to move, which is
Wow.
another thing. He's like, Kate, wait. Wait a damn minute. My baby girl Penelope
I
fell.
know.
I need to help her. I love it. That whole thing.
Oh my God, that
What
was
is up
so
with her
funny.
style? I can't.
I don't know. I have no idea. And then, okay, and then finally, another similarity is the mirror scene.
Oh my god. Yes.
Okay, I obsessed. When I read it, I was like, yes, smutty smut smut. Get it, Colin. Get it,
Yes.
Penelope. Cup them breasts. Do what you do.
Yeah.
Sexy. Love
Do
it.
the thing, do the thing.
And then when it happened, it literally made me so emotional because I was like, this is literally for all the girls, all the women who are not fucking
Size 2.
size 2, pinky,
Yeah.
like small, like a woman of curves, a woman with breasts, a woman with like, you know, a little jiggle in her body. Like it was so beautiful the way it was. And I applaud her.
Nicola.
I applaud
What is her name? How do you say
Nicola
it?
Yes. Nicola Coughlan.
I love her. When
I
she
applaud
talked about
her.
doing that scene, they asked her, they were like, you don't have to show anything. She goes, no, I want to. She goes, I want to be in this scene fully because this is not for me. She goes, this is for the viewers. This is for the women who, when they watch these romantic shows and stuff, she's like, all they see is a Daphne or a Kate, and they don't see a Penelope. And she's like, I want them to see Penelope, because she's like,
I loved it.
when do you watch a movie where there's a sex scene and it's a bigger girl?
Yeah.
She's like, never. It rarely ever happens, and when it does, it's not talked about. And she goes, this is gonna be the most talked about season, and it's gonna be because of my titties. Like, she's like, I'm gonna show it.
Amazing. It was done so gracefully, so beautifully. I loved it. I love like wait. When she's laying there, she's laying there, and Colin's like undressing.
Yeah.
And then he like undressed it all, and then she's like sitting there like this. She's like when he like shows his stuff, and she's like,
yeah, like she looks at it and she's like,
her face is so cute.
I love her.
Loved it.
And then he's
It
like,
was so
touch
done.
me.
And he's like, not yet. And she's like, oh.
I know, she's like, sorry.
So cute.
I love it.
I loved it. Me too.
It was good. It was really good. And apparently behind the scenes,
They
scene,
broke
they broke it. And I was like,
yeah, get it, Colin.
I was like, get it.
Okay. Do you have any other similarities?
No, I don't think so. I think
Yeah, I think we touched.
Yeah, I think we did good with that. So after talking about the differences and the similarities, did you what were your final thoughts? Did you enjoy the book more? Did you enjoy the season more? What was your overall?
So I enjoyed the book. I feel like I enjoyed the book more. And this is like one when I actually read the book before the series. So I came into watching the season 3 with like all these expectations. So I actually liked the book more when I think previously we liked the series more when it came to season 1 and season 2. So, and if I were to like rate Romancing Mr. Bridgerton star-wise, I give it like a 4.5.
Yeah.
Like I really genuinely, like I remember reading it and just loving it. Because by this time reading it, you know all the characters. So when you're reading it, like that's who I'm picturing. I'm picturing Penelope. I'm picturing Colin. Like these actual faces that we've seen. Like I'm picturing them when I'm reading it. And then the show, I love the show. I really do. I give it like a 4.
Yeah.
I wish it did more with the book, but I mean, I liked it.
Yeah.
I still enjoy it.
I liked it. I read, so when I was so I bought the book before the part 1 came out, and I started reading it, but then I stopped reading it. I can't remember where I stopped at. I stopped reading at a certain part because the show had already came out, and I was like, I have to watch it. I'm not gonna wait. I have to watch it. So I watched it, and then I found out it was part 2. So I was like, oh, the stars have aligned. Let me read the second half of the book then. So I read it.
Yeah.
And then after I read it, I was like, oh, I think I'm tainted because I read half of it and then I watched it, and then going back into it, I was like, it's so different and it's hard to, like, my brain wants to follow the storyline of the show and not the storyline of the book. So when I finished the book, I was like,
yeah.
So then I watched the show and I was like, yeah, this is what I wanted.
Yeah.
So I think for the book, I would rate that like a 3.5 just because.
Wow.
Yeah, because like
you're in the midst.
Yeah, it just, I think the way I did it. So when Benedict comes around, I'm gonna
have to read it first.
Before. Yeah, I'm not gonna stop reading it. I'm just gonna finish it. And then so a 3.5 for the book, and then for the show, I want to give it a 4.5 because I liked the scenes, and I like the fact that Anthony is in it with Kate more than Daphne. I liked the differences in the show.
Yeah.
So that's what I would rate it.
What would you give it, smut wise? Peppers.
Okay, so the chili peppers for the book, I would give it a 4.5 because there's a lot,
same,
and it's very detailed.
Yeah,
and it's intense. But for the show, I think I would give it a 4 because it's not as like there's not a lot of it, but there's enough. And it's
the stuff that is there, it's very good.
It's really good.
Yeah. I give it the same. I think the book really went into deep. Like, I remember reading it, and I was like, "What am I reading?"
Yeah, it's really.
I was like, "Whoa!"
You're like this. You're like reading it, and you're like,
no, like I
like,
remember reading it. Yeah, I was like reading it, and I like my stuff is like all bent because I'm just like it's so good.
Yeah.
I remember like reading it, and I was like telling Jose, I was like, "Can I read this to you? Let me read you this line."
Let me read this to you real quick.
He was like, "That's in your book?" I was like, "Yeah."
That's what Brandon, when he reads my book, like sometimes I'll fall asleep reading, he'll pick up my book and he'll just look at it and he'll be like,
I know. And then I'm like, when the series happened, I was like, "Do you want to watch the carriage scene? Let me show it to you."
You're like, watch this.
I was like, "It's literally like 10 minutes. Watch."
Brendan's never seen the Bridgerton series at all, so I'm gonna make him watch everything. And I'm like, "This isn't my book. I read this." He's gonna be like, "Why?"
Oh god,
I love it.
Okay, so what in the series? What is your favorite scene
in the show?
Yeah,
I think my favorite was. I think it was before, like, the carriage, like, leading up to the smutty part of the carriage scene.
When he's, like, interrupting at the ball and stuff?
Yeah, when she's running away, and he chases after her, and then he gets in the carriage, and he's like, "You can't marry him." Yeah. That line of him being like, "I try to run away from you, but even in my dreams, you invade my mind," or whatever.
What's
the line? Because that line is like, because you know how every season there's that one line where it's "I burn for you," and he's like, "You are the bane of my existence," and then Colin is like, "I sleep just to see you." I think is something like that. This entire scene here, oh my god.
Penelope.
Oh my god.
She's like, "Get in."
Look at it, and her boobs are out and everything.
I know. Very high.
Now, will you please let us ride home in silence and leave me alone?
I cannot.
Please.
I cannot. Because
His face.
I know.
What if I did have feelings for you? I have spent so long trying to feel less, trying to be the kind of man society expects me to be. And for a moment, I thought I had succeeded. But these past few weeks have been full of confounding feelings. Feelings like a total inability to stop thinking about you. About that kiss. Feelings like dreaming of you when I'm asleep, and in fact, preferring sleep because that is where I might find you. A feeling that is like torture. But one which I cannot, will not, do not want to give up.
Oh, God. And the song.
It is everything I have wanted to say to you for weeks.
Call me your friends.
Yes, baby.
And look at the way he looks at her.
Forgive me. I do not know what I was thinking.
Okay, we sobbing.
God,
it's so good. That's my favorite scene because it's so powerful, and it's like that is the point that we've been waiting for since season 1. And he's like, his eyes nearly roll to the back of his head.
Oh my god, it was so good.
I love it. That's my favorite.
I'm gonna go rewatch it.
It's like, yeah, me too. I love it so much.
Oh god. Okay, so let's do some quick rapid pop culture references.
Okay.
So Rotten Tomatoes rated it with 88%,
Yeah, that's a good one.
which it makes sense. It's higher than the last two, so
The last one, I think it was
70.
8%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it went
so-
up.
Mm-hmm. By a lot.
Colin and Penelope glow up, and
Mhm.
Francesca too.
They
so
had
Colin
that
grew
Bridgerton
up.
glow up.
Yeah, so Colin obviously grew up. He has more of the confidence with that, his wink. And Penelope literally drops the yellow and oranges and has a big FU moment to everyone,
Yes.
which the song they played was the ABCD
Mhm.
EFU, and like that was like such a perfect song for her to walk out in her like Paris gown and like
Yes. Very
so
nice
good.
color too. It was a really pretty green.
I love her
It
stuff,
fits her
like
so
her
well.
outfits.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Start with the yeah.
So Penelope, and then also we have Francesca, who the last time we seen Francesca, because like we mentioned earlier, it's a different actress. She was just like a little girl, like whatever. Then they brought in a new actress to play older Francesca, and she literally looks like a Disney princess.
Yes. She's so pretty. She's like flawless.
Elle-esque. Yeah,
Mhm.
she's so cute. So
Yes.
all of the like Bridgerton, even like Eloise, like they're all growing up, and like even Hyacinth and
Yeah,
like
Hyacinth looks so pretty.
they're all growing
Gregory
up.
looks older.
They're all growing. I mean, it's like 2 years, right? In between each season, it seems like. So
Mhm.
and then we have your classical covers of pop songs. So you've got Ariana Grande POV, which was during the mirror scene.
Yes.
Demi Lovato's Confident. When they played that, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I loved it.
Taylor Swift's You Belong With Me, which they did when they danced.
Yep.
And then I think the one that I was most happy for and excited for was Coldplay Yellow at the wedding.
That one was that wedding scene must be my second because that was such a good scene, and I think they did it so
cute.
well.
And I also love like when they, and not the actual wedding scene, but when they're in church and like the guy is like, these are the people who are getting married.
Yeah.
And like Penelope like looks back at Colin, and Colin's like,
Yeah,
like
he's
it's
like,
us.
it's us.
And then,
I'm so
I know.
excited. It's so
And
cute.
then Louis Featherington looks at like the mom of Bridgerton.
Yeah.
And she's like, we're gonna be related.
And then Violet's like,
she's like, ugh, fuck.
Fine. Anything for my son?
Yeah.
Like she's
And
side eyes.
seriously. And then obviously the biggest like memes in social media was the carriage scene, the
Yes.
fingers, which we've constantly have done throughout today's
Mhm.
episode, and the mirror scene. Like those are the biggest. I
Yeah.
feel like are the biggest things they've, because every season they have something.
Yeah, they have memes and stuff, but meme aside, I think social media took more of an interest in the actor and actress that plays Colin and Penelope.
Yeah.
And like Luke and Nikolai.
Yeah.
Is that how you say her name? I feel like I say
Yeah,
it weird
Nikolai-
because I have an
Nic-
English accent. I'm not
Nikolai
British.
Coughlin.
Yeah.
Nikolai Coughlin.
So social media like took that and was like, look at them during PR, they're in love, like they're wearing each other's
know.
clothes, they're constantly holding hands, they're
I
constantly
know, so
and I'm like,
cute.
okay, what a dream it would be, right, if they really were together. But we also have to remember, like, this is just PR. They did the
And then
same
once
thing
it
with...
ended,
Well, actually,
once-
once it ended, it still is still very present. Like, I still see stuff about them.
I've seen it coming back, but no, I
Yeah.
remember like there was a lot of them being together, and everybody's like, "Are they together?" And then they're like, "Who's he with? He's not with anyone." And then there's like this, like he's like walking hand in hand with some other girl, and everyone was like, "Ah!"
Yeah. And I think we just forget, like, we want it to happen so bad because we love
We're, like,
her.
in it.
Nikolai, I
We're
love
more.
her. Yeah, she's
Mhm.
great. And I think we're just so like, we want her to actually be with him. But
Yeah.
I think she has a man.
Maybe
She went to a festival
But
with him
I
recently.
literally like season 1 and season. I feel like this season there was so much PR happening.
Mhm.
Like I've never seen a season like season 1, season 2. Like I don't remember Anthony and Kate like being like it wasn't as talked about.
Yeah,
as
they didn't
focused,
have a
like
heavy PR like they did. I know
this is
Queen
one that
Charlotte
we've
did.
been. Yeah, but this
Mhm.
is one that like viewers have been waiting for is
Mhm.
like them to get together. So
Yeah.
it made sense there was so much PR towards them.
Yeah, So I hope
and then
they don't try and do that with Benedict, and not because of personal reasons, but because Benedict is with one of the Featherington sisters. They're dating.
I know in real life.
The one that's like no, the butterflies. That one.
So
I think
cute.
they're so cute together.
So cute.
I love them.
And then Lord Debline is actually dating the other
Featherington sister. Yeah,
I love that.
I did. I found that so cute because I was like, oh,
I loved them in the season. They're so funny.
they're
like,
hilarious. Like, what do you
love
mean when they were talking about like
answer himself where?
answer himself where? What do you mean? And she's like, he had to change his trousers. Like,
and the mom is like, "Oh my god, my daughters are
we're
never
gonna have babies."
And at the end, they all have their
I
little
know.
babies.
It's the
I'm like,
cutest. I
so
love
cute.
it. And I
Me
like
too.
that the ending, it kind of closes off on Penelope like finally wanting to be around her family. 'Cause I
Not
think
even
that's the
that.
first time we see that.
Yes, but not even that. But I love when she's like does her stuff, and then she's like her signature. She's like, "Yours truly, Penelope Bridgerton." Like it's not Lady Whistledown, and I was like, "We are at a like."
I wonder how
Because-
they're gonna do that with the next season. Like, you know how they always have Lady
Yeah.
Whistledown speaking. Like, I wonder if they're gonna have Julie Andrews talk still, or if
Or
it's
is-
gonna be Penelope's
because
voice because it transitioned.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I loved it. And then just to like where we are with because this was the last season that they showed on Netflix.
Yes.
And the season ended with Eloise talking to Benedict. So as we know, Eloise and Benedict are very close. I think
Yes.
out of all the siblings, they are the closest to each other.
Yep.
Eloise has asked her mom, you know, if she can go with Francesca and Lord Sterling and like kind of have her little adventure, like, you know, go out there, be out there, see things. So she's leaving for that.
Mm-hmm.
And Benedict is doing what he does.
Well, he ended. I think he like ended his thing with Miss Tilly.
Yes, he
Towards
did.
the end, he was like, "This,
Yeah.
I can't. You know, I want to see
Yeah.
what I have." And so now he's at that point where he's like, "I
Because
don't know
he
what."
has- yeah.
Yeah, he's like, "I don't know what I need right now. What I want." And
Yeah.
I think season 4 is like,
But like, so if you know Benedict's story, if you've read Benedict's story, then you know the little like hint they give at the end of this episode of season 3. Eloise and them, they're just like, "Oh, you know, my mom would have a fit if we didn't show it to her masquerade ball." And I was like, "They're
Yep.
setting it up for Benedict," because in Benedict's book, that's where he meets his love interest was at the masquerade ball.
I'm so excited.
we
This
are
is the most
now-
anticipated
I know.
for me.
We are
Love it.
now preparing for Benedict's season. Casting has been done. It's all over social media who they have casted for Benedict's love interest, Sophie. And then even like her people, like they've added more. And like from Harry Potter.
Yes, yeah, they have
she's
what's her
in there.
name? Yeah. Love it.
I'm so excited.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Filming has begun. There has been like snaps, like pictures of them in their like masquerade ball outfits. There's
Mhm.
like
They're
going-
dancing.
they're starting it. They're getting it done. They're
Yep.
probably like, we need to hurry up because people want this season.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for that, as I'm sure you are the most excited.
I'm the most excited because I've loved Benedict since the beginning. As
know.
soon as I saw
Sure.
him, and they haven't changed how he looks. Like he's always looked the
No.
same. So I'm excited
Yeah.
to see if he gets that
He hasn't
Bridgerton
had,
glow
like-
up that everyone
Oh, his
is like.
glow
He
up is
doesn't really need it.
gone. I know. It's more
He doesn't
inside
need
his
it.
glow up. He needs like to be
Mm.
more responsible.
He doesn't want the menage a
He needs
trois
to
no
settle
more.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs to settle down.
He's trying to find, because he's like one of those people that like chases the high. Like he's like an adrenaline junkie when it comes to
Yeah.
like things that interest him. And I think
Yeah.
he needs to find someone that will give him that adrenaline junkie, but also like ground him a little bit.
Yeah,
Kind
for sure.
of like Kate to Anthony. 'Cause
Mhm.
Kate kind of grounds Anthony a bit. That's what Benedict needs. Baby boy
Yeah.
Benedict. We love him.
Me too.
I love it.
Okay, so we have games. I actually have a game for you.
Woo! Do you want to do yours first or do you want to do mine first?
Sure, I'll do mine first.
Okay.
So it's called Who Said It, Book or Show.
Okay, this is gonna be hard for me.
So I'm going to read you a quote, and then you have to determine if it's either from the book or it's
Mhm.
from the show.
Okay.
And if you know who said it, then you can say the character that you think. But it's mostly like, do you think this was in the show or was it in the book?
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So the first quote is, just because I do not have a husband does not mean I'm not capable of making my own decisions. Show or book?
Book? No. Show. Penelope.
Okay. Correct. It
Okay.
is show, and it's Penelope in the series. She makes that quote.
Yes. I think she's talking to her mom or something, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Quote number 2. I would never dare to insult you with false compliments, Penelope. You are a wonder. Book or show?
Book.
Correct. And it is?
Colin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Number 3. Who said this quote, or where did this quote come from?
Okay.
Be careful what you wish for, Penelope.
Is it show?
And who said it?
Cressida?
Okay. It is
Or is
the
it
book.
Eloise? Oh no, not Eloise.
It is the book, and it's actually Colin who says it to
Oh
Penelope.
my god. See, he's such an
This is
asshole.
when he was, he's being like such an ass to her, and he's just like talking like all this smack to her.
Yeah. Like, don't be like that.
Okay, who says this? To love is to burn, to be on fire. How could anyone not want that? Book or show?
Book.
And
Is it Penelope?
it's book, and it's Daphne.
Oh,
Colin,
yeah,
book,
see, that's why, because I
Daphne.
don't really care for her.
You should have known with the burn.
I know. Oh god. I burned for you. Like, alright, bitch.
Okay. Final one. Sometimes we must walk through the fire to find our true selves.
Penelope.
Show or movie, or
Show.
show or book. It is the show, and it's Our Lady Danbury.
Oh god, our bitch. That's our girl right there.
So that is the game. Who said it? Book or show?
Yeah, so for the next game, it is Guess That Character. We love this game for the Bridgerton series, so this one is just going to be season 3 photos. So I want you to guess who you think it is, and I'll tell you if it's right or not, okay?
Okay.
So here is the first one.
That is Francesca.
It is indeed Francesca. Look how pretty she is.
Total Belle vibes. I love it.
love it. Okay, here is the next one.
Is that Penelope?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay. It is. It is
Yeah.
Penelope. Look at her. This was like before she had her
Full
major
glow up.
Yeah, her glow up where she
Yeah.
wears the green and all that good stuff. So, and then there's and then there's this line.
Is that Kate? And is that Anthony like caressing Kate?
Yes. It's the infamous picture of them too. I love this picture. Look at them.
Cute. I know.
They're adorable. I love them. I love it. And then the last one here is a little tricky.
Lord Debling.
What the fuck? Yes. How did you know?
I just know I love this season, I tell you.
I thought it was gonna be a little tricky because the way his suit is
I
the
know you were
same
thinking
as
Jesse
the
Colin
suit
or something.
No, it's the same as the suit of the boxer guy. So he like wears the
Will?
same. Yeah, he wears like
Will Bill?
Will Bill. He wears the same type of like jacket. So I was like, I'm gonna trick her. Didn't trick her. At
Yeah,
all.
I said Lord Debling, you were like, what?
I was like,
You're like,
okay.
that was quick.
But yeah, that was a quick game. So that's what we had.
Okay, well, that is it for our Bridgerton series. Until a Baby Boy Benedict season appears. And then we definitely will do like a one-off episode with Queen Charlotte. Most likely, like when we start leading up to Benedict, we'll kind of like loop it back, bring it back around. On our next episode, we are talking about one of my personal favorites, show and book, Harry Potter.
I don't have a one in my hand, but
wait.
Woo!
My tattoo.
I don't have one. I have Loki, but that's about it.
We're talking Harry Potter. We are gonna dive into book 1 and 2 / movie 1 and 2. Harry Potter is available to watch on streaming services such as Max, Peacock, Hulu, and Amazon Prime. Or if you're like me and have like DVDs,
Yeah.
because that's what I got,
Mm-hmm.
you can watch it on that as well. So I'm very excited.
Woo! I'm excited too. Harry
Me
Potter. Are we gonna
too.
dress up? I'm gonna put a the thing on my forehead. I'm gonna dress up as someone.
You have to dress up from somebody from either 1 or 2.
There's a troll. There's a troll in the dungeon. I'm gonna be the troll.
I'm
gonna be Snape.
I'm gonna be Moaning Myrtle.
Oh my god. Who would look at me? Weeping, moaning, Myrtle.
Oh my I love it.
it.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. We are gonna be going into our October series. This is the last episode for September. I'm so proud of us. Look at us
I
going through
know.
the whole month. Like, yeah,
We did good.
we did really good.
Yes.
So we're gonna go into our October series, which we will post things that we will read, shows and movies we're gonna watch, and our special guest for the month we have joining us.
Mhm.
Very
Ha 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 ha. This is the skin of a killer, Bella. Sparkle, glitter,
my
glitter,
God.
sparkle.
and
I
with
love
that
it. So, like Kim said, we are ending off the Bridgerton series until Baby Boy Benedict comes out. If you have not read any of the books from the Bridgerton series, or you haven't read Baby Boy Benedict's book before the book comes out, or the show comes out, I recommend going to your local bookstore, picking up the book, or you can go to Audible, where you can find all of the Bridgerton series on Audible, on top of many other series, even ones that we haven't talked about yet, or like our upcoming one. I think Harry Potter is on there too. So, you can definitely look at all of the options, but if you don't have Audible, you can sign up with a 30-day free trial using my link, audibletrial.com/spellbound. I will put it in the link below. It will also be, there will be like a little picture here somewhere, so you can see it, but it gives you a 30-day free trial with 1 free credit, so you can get any book that you want for free and see if it's for you. But every month with Audible, you do get a free book that you can get anything with. I used mine this month for Exodus, so which is part of the Ravenhood series.
I have to wait for October 15th for my free credit, but as soon as October 15th comes, I will get Exodus.
Yes, it's good. It's really good. But yeah, you can listen to Bridgerton, you can do Harry Potter, you can do any book. So I recommend trying that out. And yeah. Thank you for joining us, dearest gentle listeners. This will be the last time that you'll be seeing me do this type of outro, but thank you for joining us. But thank you so much for joining us, dearest gentle listeners. Until next time, keep reading, keep watching, and remember, every story has a new page to turn. God,